all right, I'm gonna, I understand what that is. I'm gonna make those hires. I start small. Um, now what do I do? Right. Kind of as the direction and like, where's the direction of the business going? What's changing, what's not changing. I've got more time. Where do I allocate my new time now?
Yeah. So that would be different for everyone, right? So now that you know your hourly rate and you know your income, I want you to take a step back, a 10,000 foot view, and look at your business. It's going to be different for everyone. And I want you to look at, where did that money come from? Literally. Did it come from buyers? Did it come from sellers? Did it come from open houses? Did it come from Zillow leads? Did it come from events? Where did it come from? Did it come from your Facebook ads? Where did it come from? So when you're making your first hire, when you figure out, usually when you look at your book of business, usually you realize there's two reoccurring things. There's multiple, but two that happens over and over again. That's what my research shows through the years, right? So maybe for you is Facebook ads and open houses. So you hire this new assistant who's going to help you with everything else, and it's no longer worth your time, right? And guess where you're going to be at? Facebook ads and open houses. You're going to double down on that. So while this person is helping you to run your life so you can have sanity when you come out of this office, right? You are going to go head down, hard work, double down on what you know it's working. When you double down on what you know it's working, and you're no longer spending your time on the data entry of the everyday nitty-gritty that also needs to get done, your results just quadruple because you're only spending time on the things that are making you money. Does that make sense? So I would want you to start with that. And eventually, now you're going to be making 4 or 5 times the money, right? So I can give you an example. The most money I've ever made, I don't know without a personal assistant, because I had a personal assistant. I had Christy for 11 or 12 years of my career, and I'm 14 years in, right? So I hired a personal assistant before I could actually afford one, to be honest.
So that's a great point right there. So in that is it too, right? It's like, make the hire right before you can afford to make the hire. And so in the early days for you, mom, business, like, what were all the things that filled her bucket? Because I think that's where I hear a lot of agents like, well, what would they do? What would be all the things that they would do? Well, okay, now I understand the math equation, but still, what are those things? What would they do?
So I started with can I say what I suck at?
Yeah.
So I would call myself an organized chaos kind of person. I'm very organized in my head. Now, if you're going to make me file that into an actual paper file, it's never going to happen. If you're going to ask me, where's the file for 123 Main Street? I don't have one. Everything is in my head. I know exactly where to find it. I know what email to print. I know who sent it, when they sent it. I know which side of the page I took the note on. Like, I'm very visual and I'm very organized. But when you have a lot of businesses and as you're growing with things, right, we all naturally have super duper skills and we have things that we just suck at. Hire the things that you suck at. That's the first thing they're going to take off of your plate. So that in my case, I can be successful top producing agent and be organized. So when someone comes into my office, there's not a pile of paper this high. And when they're looking at what they need, I'm like, oh, it's somewhere in here, right? So that would have been me in the past, right? Today, I'm super organized, but I have 14 assistants. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally have an assistant for everything from design to emails to websites to numbers trackers to you name it, I have it. Right? Because I hire out my weaknesses. So I would start with weaknesses. I would also start with things that you might love and you're good at it, but it's not making you the money, right? So for example, bookkeeping, your taxes, you're answering your emails. Like, you might love it, right? But does it make you money? No, it's at the back end. You already made the money. You just have to respond to your bookkeeper where it went, right? Or where did it come from? So I would hire those things out and really just put your head down and do the things that you're really good at. Now, after they help you get organized, then you're going to start thinking on all of the things that are like, ooh, I could be doing this. And now there's 2 of us, right? So now we have 80 hours, because alone you have 40 hours if you're working normal hours, right? And then now you have 1 more of you. So now you have 80 hours worth of work you can get done in 1 week. So now after everything got organized and you guys got a good rhythm and understand each other and how you work. Now, let's say this person still has 30 hours left or 20 hours left, right? Now, what can they do? You know what they can do? They can start building you all of those businesses, that all of these ideas that are in your head that you're like, oh my gosh, it's such a great idea, but I don't have any time, or I don't know where to start or how to do it. That can be on the computer over there Googling it. They can be on the computer over there setting you up all of the steps and Go High Level and creating your course and setting up the camera and the lights, and all you need to do is sit down and shoot your course.